Gary Bennett. Thanks for joining the Ambition Blueprint, Episode 2. All entrepreneurs that I've spoken with go through the same experience when they decide to chase their passion and burn all the boats. Family doesn't believe in them and tells you you won't make it. Friends don't trust you, that it won't work out, and they bring you down to their level. Don't chase your dreams. Coworkers also say it's too risky. Stay longer at your current job. And when you do make it, they call it luck. What experiences have you went through so far like this that you've overcome? How do you encourage other people to overcome this when they're chasing their passion and their dreams?
So I think it's very normal for family and friends when you're starting any kind of entrepreneurial career to not believe in it, because most of the time, you don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. And if you do, they probably would be supportive. But if that's not your upbringing and your environment, I don't think people mean it intentionally, but they can't see it for themselves. So I think it's very easy for family and friends to cast their own judgment on how you'll do, because that's what they think of themselves. So when I started, I had a lot of family, a lot of friends either question it, or the questions that they ask are alluding to, like, well, what kind of result do you think you're going to have from that, or what do you expect from that, or don't do that. Coming from a family, people in my family who have done real estate, and that is because they didn't continue on doing it, or maybe they changed a different career path. But it is hard and it is tough, and I think that's why a lot of people stray from it or cast their own doubts on you. So during those times, I learned to not tell them too much.
Yeah. Who would you say like your number one biggest supporter is, and why you keep moving forward?
My mom. My mom has always, any career path that I've chosen, any educational path, any decision I've made in my life, my mom has always, without a doubt, has supported me, had my back. Even in times when it seemed insane or crazy, she said, if anyone's going to do it, it's you.
Yeah. I think definitely, like, if you have that person behind your back that is supporting you, like, you can move mountains. Mm-hmm. And also bringing into that, there's a quote that says, if you believe you can move a mountain, you're going to move it. But if you believe that you can't move a mountain, you're not going to move it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. How would you say, so let's say someone's graduating high school and they want to get into this field, but their friends are bringing them down, their family's bringing them down. Like, how would you encourage them to just burn all the boats and go all in?
I would say look at yourself and really evaluate how you want the trajectory of your life to go. So if you're wanting more of a traditional way, if you want to work a 9-to-5 and have consistent hours, you can take this route. But if you're wanting to have untapped earning potential, if you want to get creative with how you're earning your income, then seek the other. But you have to quiet the noise and understand that these people probably want the best for you. Maybe not everyone, but most people that love you probably want the best for you, but they may not understand your path, and that's okay. And you just have to take it with a grain of salt.
How do you deal with criticism?
I try to accept it as much as I can, because I think we could all use criticism. I think nowadays a lot of people are very soft to having any kind of what's the word I want to use? Anytime that there's any adversity on, someone's actions and what they're doing, they justify it with everything, instead of taking accountability and saying, oh, I probably could have worked on this a little bit better, instead of internalizing. Because when you think you know everything, you think that your way is always the right way, that's when you die. You're not learning anymore.
Learning.
Yeah. And if you can't take accountability, how do you expect others?
One thing you're huge on is manifestation. For someone to start the manifestation process, like, how do you bring this to your daily life?
A lot of it is gratitude.
Gratitude.
So one of the first books that I read, it was a spiritual book, was The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. Great book. It's almost like a spiritual Bible, essentially, and you can read it no matter what your background is. And the second was The Secret, and a lot of that talks about mindset, and your mindset is going to dictate your mind. It's going to dictate your life. You could, quote unquote, have a shit life, but if you have the right mindset, you don't at all. And that's your reality.
Yeah, I know one thing that's changed for a lot of people is just the mindset. Like if you have the mindset, you're going to make it. It doesn't matter where you come from. It's all mindset.
And everything is, an opportunity. So even in times when like you're losing, you're down on your luck, you're broke, you're this, you're that, that's good because that's when you can start and change.
Yeah, builds character.
Exactly.
So for somebody to be like manifestation or just to manifest stuff in your life, what could they do to keep? It's hard to start new stuff. And it's hard to like be spiritual or whatever. Like how could you hold yourself accountable to keep manifesting, to keep that positive energy flowing?
It's discipline. It's like anything that you want. It's like a muscle. The more that you utilize it, the easier it becomes. It might be hard at first. It might feel weird, but something along the lines of manifestation too is when I pray about things, I thank God for it already happening. Because I know that if I can foresee it in my future and I want it, I'm gravitated towards it, I'm supposed to have it. And I'm, thanking God for clearing the path for me, for showing me, the right way to be and to discipline yourself throughout that process.
Would you encourage everybody to, or what are your like 3 pillars of life that we would say, like push your business more forward?
I would say really it would be 4, and I would relate it back to scorecard. So I would say your spiritual health, your relational health, and the people closest to you, your physical health, and your business. You have all of those, and you can succeed in anything.
Just holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important to hold yourself accountable weekly?
Oh, man, you have to keep score. If you're not, if you're not keeping track of how you're doing on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, there's no way for you to measure how your success is going. And it doesn't have to be success in business. It could be success in being a parent. What are you doing in your world as a parent that you like? What are you doing in your world as a parent that you don't like? And then evaluate yourself because one of the joys of being alive is to improve yourself. And if you can't have that, you're just existing.
Back to the parents. How can parents out there encourage their kids to burn all the boats and like encourage their kids to chase their dreams, to chase their passion instead of doing the normal?
I think mainly instilling confidence from a really young age.
What does that look like?
So I think being supportive of kids, if it brings them joy and it's not illegal.
Yeah.
If it's something that you can see, like, just spark something inside of them, tell them to go for it. I do remember as a kid, something my dad used to always say to me, and it stuck out all the time, is he would just look at me and he'd be like, Kara, you can do anything you want in this world. He's like, if you want to wake up and be a doctor, you can. If you want to turn around and be a lawyer after that, you can. He always instilled that spirit in me that I was capable, no matter where I come from, no matter, the things that I don't have or that I lack, you can change and you can adapt and you can become those things. And because he said things like that to me, it really stuck, especially at an early age.
For people who haven't had a life like that, how could they develop a stronger mindset to believe in themselves?
Love yourself. I think pouring back into yourself when you're having moments of doubt or when you're not really sure what direction to go in life. Because I feel a lot of people that lack direction or feel that they lack purpose are not spending enough time with developing themselves. Because once you find out all the things that you really enjoy doing, you can start attacking those as your passions. And then you can just kind of let that lead the way for you.
I think McGill said one time that when he eats bad food, he feels like crap. When he eats good food, he feels healthy. Like, why is that also important to be eating healthy?
So, I mean, your health is your wealth. We preach it a lot, and having your health is an underrated blessing that I think a lot of people take for granted because it's their norm. And then you get sick and you wonder, oh my gosh, how do people function like this? It's like, yeah, you have everything. When you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, you're able to pour into other buckets. Without that, you're just going to be draining yourself. That's how people lead to burnouts, because they're not prioritizing their health.
One of my favorite quotes in that book he told me, The Secret, it goes, what advice would you, not that one. It says, you become what you think about the most, but you also attract what you think about the most. So if you think about drugs the most, we're going to become a drug dealer. If you think about business the most, we're going to become a businessman. How can somebody like put themselves in the right room to be thinking about what they want to be in the future?
So I think that also goes back to, what they're drawn to. So if someone wants to wake up and they say, I want to become a lawyer, obviously you have to go to school for that. But outside of that, you have to start asking yourself these questions. Where are these people hanging out? What are they doing? How do they act? Something that I did in the past is I would ask myself, what kind of woman do I want to be? What kind of woman do I look up to? And then I would ask myself, how does she walk? How does she talk? What does she eat? How does she hold herself? How does she take criticism? And then you answer all these questions about like your highest self of like, I would dream to be this person, to have these things. You have to break it down into very, very systemized steps of exactly what that person is.
Do you believe in like fake it until you make it? Like just believe you're that person until you are that person?
Yeah, to a degree. I think there's a difference between like faking it till you make it and then it being a fraud. You're acting like you're some person.
Guy,
yeah, and then you come home and you're actually not that guy. But I think definitely starting out in a new career, it's important to wear yourself with confidence, and you act as if you are this person, then you are. But you have to make sure that you're doing those actions that you say that you are to show up as that person.
What advice would you give people today that want to become that person, but they're just not taking that leap, not taking that extra step? Because you can show the horse where the water is, but you can't force them to drink it.
Yeah. I would say just don't rely on motivation alone to create those changes within yourself. You have to make uncomfortable steps to discipline yourself. It's always hard the first time that you're making a change. It's always uncomfortable. It always sucks, and it sucks for everybody. It's not like I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is easy. It's not easy.
It's not supposed to be easy.
It's not, but that's the difference. When you discipline yourself now and don't give yourself the choice now, you're able to make more choices later.
How do you embrace the pain then?
I see pain as a good thing. It's so messed up, but it's like, I know that, temporary pain is going to give me things that I want and desire for the future. And just callousing your mind. Because there's a lot of times when, you want to give up, not just like in a workout, it could be anything. You're pushing past that threshold of maybe you work a 9 to 5 and then you come home and you work on your dreams and you think, oh my gosh, this hour is so excruciating. But every day that you show up for yourself in that way, you're 1% closer.
Just like the consistency of getting better every day. I know Alex Hermazi, he hits on that a lot. You work out too every single day. What does your daily routine look like?
So my routine's kind of all over the place right now because I'm training for a marathon. So my splits used to be very simple, just in the gym, cardio a few times a week, and lifting weights. But now I try to rack up at least 20 miles a week, 25, and some strength training in there to maintain muscle. But I definitely know that with years of, being physically fit, my body craves that. So if I don't have it, I start to notice my mental will go down. I'll start to lack confidence.
Would you say you feel better the days you do work out, like you feel more motivated?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My energy's better. My mind is clear. I feel like I did something really good for myself, but I also embraced pain. And so I know if I can do it in the gym or outside, wherever, I can go back and do it in other areas too.
On the days that you're like too busy to go work out, what do you do to substitute that? Like, what can anybody do to not feel like dead?
So I've even like done push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, squats in my house before bed for 30 minutes. Or, you can have days when you're resting, but you're doing yoga or you're stretching, something that's going to be moving your body, or taking a walk. And maybe you can take a few phone calls when you walk.
What mindset shifts have you had the most profound impact on your journey as an entrepreneur?
Few different times. I would say, like, spiritually, that's been one of the biggest things for me that's changed my life. First just opening up my mind to how the world works, on manifestation, on prayer, and my relationship with God. And I think that anyone in any situation can have the power to change systems in their life with that alone.
Definitely. I think spirituality is a huge key in really any aspect of life, business, relational. How do you, if someone is not spiritual, would you embrace that on them or try to open the doors for them? Or
I mean, you can't force anyone to believe anything. And at the end of the day, people don't want to be forced. But all I can do is give my testimonials on how opening that door for me has changed my life. I know how it's impacted my life in every single aspect. And you can start to branch things out from spirituality to just life. Like, everything is connected in a sense, but even from a standpoint of, how did you start to get involved with spirituality? I started practicing gratitude. You don't have to be spiritual to practice gratitude. That's accessible for anybody without committing to a church or, telling yourself that you're going to buy a Bible.
So I know a lot of people, they think spirituality is instantly like a religion or somebody you follow, but what would be a definition to you of what spirituality is?
Spirituality, I think, is you seeing yourself than more than just a physical body full of water.
Okay. That's a good one. Well, Kara, thanks for joining me on the Ambition Blueprint episode too.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.